Okay, we are now recording.
Okay, welcome back to the Hubs and V, grinding our gears. Is that
Grinding all gears.
is that what it is? Grinding our gears. And this week's topic.
What grinds your gears?
No, I don't want to steal that because Seth MacFarlane might get pissed off at me.
I don't give a shit about Seth.
You know what grinds my gears?
You know what really grinds my gears? This Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan doing a crab walk. Jesus. Naked. Okay, I think we've given her enough time. Anyways, this week's topic is going to be remakes in general and adulting.
Just the most popular topic, adulting. But
Would you like to start this one since I started the last one?
Sure. First with remakes. I will admit I have talked a little bit of how I feel about them, and even though I'm getting older, my feelings on remakes don't really change that much unless it's something good. Like for stuff involving the Scooby-Doo movies of just like, oh, so Velma and Daphne having a lesbian relationship behind Fred's back. Yeah, I could believe that. And then Shaggy being a pothead. Yeah, I could believe that too, because who could eat that much without being high as fuck? But certain jokes about it made no sense, like Scooby leaving his nephew on the side of the road. That doesn't seem like Scooby.
Right? That is not the wholesome uncle we all know as a Great Dane. A brown Great Dane with black spots.
Like, he's dragged his nephew through everything. Ghost investigations, Shaggy being a werewolf, scare school.
Oh, maybe that was the joke, or intended joke, that Scooby-Doo really is a crappy uncle taking his nephew on all these really dangerous adventures to find criminals and whatnot.
He must have learned from Goku how to be a parent.
So, instead of like making the movie about that, they made Scrappy kind of the villain by leaving him on the side of the road and showing Uncle Scooby is really terrible. You know? Maybe that was the joke. I don't know.
I don't know. And then you have certain remakes like the Brady Bunch, where even though I hated the show growing up, like, I don't give a fuck about these kids.
Honestly, I kind of enjoyed the Brady Bunch movies because it was more satire than it was like about the original series. You know, it was a satire on how the original series made a nuclear family, or not a nuclear family, I'm sorry, a blended family look. You know,
Right.
Which I thought was pretty funny for yeah.
But then you have like the super bad remakes like Dark Shadows.
Or Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution. Those pissed off fans for a lot of reasons. Like I know one person when I was watching the movie with them, it was one of my friends that I met through an ex of mine of Carrie, her friend of Kira. She was like, "Why am I watching Barnabas Collins get a blowjob?"
Or how about I don't know that I can really call them remakes though. Obviously the Ninja Turtles can be considered remakes because everybody has the original Ninja Turtles trilogy, and you know, if not trilogy, at least the first two.
At least the first.
Now you got Michael Bay in there. Just I will never like the new ones as much as I like the originals, but I can see how younger kids nowadays would like that. You know, how it's kind of reaching out to them. I just make my kids watch the originals. You know, that's how they find out about them.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep it that way. But like, okay, one that I was surprised by though, walking into, I really wanted to see it because I was excited. I'd heard the original cast was going to, or what was left of the original cast, was going to at least cameo in it. And I really wanted to see it, but I was scared. And that's the new Ghostbusters movie.
Oh yeah.
they rebooted the Ghostbusters films, and there's a lot of people pissed off about it. I don't know why. You know, I mean, well, okay, I do know why. When you're a kid and you see these movies come out for the first time, and then you grow up, and now there's this Hollywood's just blown up with wanting to reboot everything. You know, from Spider-Man to Ghostbusters.
It's
and Spider-Man, what, twice?
Yeah, twice now.
And quite frankly, I was happy with the original trilogy. I think, was it Sam Raimi?
Yeah, Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Did great with that, you know, especially with Bruce Campbell's cameos in there as the.
Oh yeah.
And Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, as you know, go all the way back to college with the Evil Dead film.
I was so waiting for Ash to meet up with Spider-Man for like a crossover.
Right. So I was happy with the original three, knowing what I knew about Spider-Man. It was, you know, I wasn't a big Spider-Man fan growing up, but I knew the story and I knew the gist. But like Ghostbusters, I was really scared because I was the same way as Jenny. Jenny didn't want to see it at all. She was tired of it. She didn't want to see any of the Ninja Turtles movies. She was tired of the Transformers movies. You know, she's just fed up with all of these. They're ruining my childhood, you know. I'm like, Jenny, I have to see it. Bill Murray is going to be in it. You know, if Bill Murray's going to be in it, it's got to be something. And we watched it, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was really freaking funny.
I mean, it is entertaining, but my only issue with the Ghostbusters movie was that they tried to retcon everything instead of just being like, it was the original Ghostbusters leaving it to, like, a daughter or something. Like, it doesn't bother me that it's an all-female cast, but they're just like, it's passed down from generation to generation. I would have felt happier with it.
Well, and it kind of did. Because I'm really terrible with names. But Ernie Hudson plays the father of one of the Ghostbusters. Now, he's not a Ghostbuster in the movie. He's a funeral director. That's how they get the car. But it's sort of, I don't know, it was kind of like every surviving member of the cast was kind of handing off something in the film when they did their cameo. And I think it would have been better had it been done the way you just said it. Had it, like, if Ernie Hudson had actually been the Ghostbuster handing it down to his daughter, or like Dan Aykroyd being the grandfather or something of
one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, that would have made much more sense. But they also did a lot of talking about wanting it to be a standalone film, which you can't. You've already got an existing series. You can't stand alone after that. They did a good job. They did a good job with what they had, and I was pleasantly surprised. And it shouldn't get as much flack as it should, but that's one remake I'm actually kind of happy with. They could have done better, of course, but you know.
But that's my only issue. It's just like, we're gonna remake. Like, why? You could just have it as a continuation in universe. No one would be upset.
Well, I think they were going to, but there was a lot of problems with, you know, getting Bill Murray on board to do the sequel.
Bill Murray.
Well, he's Bill Murray. I love the guy, but he's enigmatic. He's Bill fucking Murray.
He's a very difficult man, even though he's lovable.
Oh, yes. But, I mean, and there was talks at some point that I think Sigourney Weaver was even in the movie, wasn't she?
She was going to be, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, anyways, so that's one film one remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it, that I'm actually not disappointed in. It was really, I found it quite entertaining. And I give credit to the female cast. They were genuinely funny, and, you know, it wasn't some poor attempt
at a cash grab.
Yeah. Well, because two of them, they all had really good chemistry, but the two had worked on SNL together.
Oh, you know, yeah.
So they had already had that chemistry built up. So it was, and then you add Melissa McCarthy in there, who's just
pure gold on her own.
Yeah, she's just hilarious.
But I guess the only remakes I think I want to see done right after so much big build up for them is the Ghost in the Shell movie in March.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sick and tired of people saying that's whitewashing when it's just cyborg humans in
Well,
the future.
right. It's future. Is that Neo Tokyo or does that? I can't remember where Ghost in the Shell takes place in the original anime movie.
I think it's Neo Tokyo. It's like there's barely any
But-
humans and it's just all
Right.
plastic human beings.
It's everything's cyborg, everything's android, and nobody is anything anymore. There is no American, there is no Russian, everybody's blended at that point. That's what I thought when I watched the original Ghost in the Shell anime, anyways, because they
That's
didn't.
what I thought too, but it's like people around the world just like, this is whitewashing. The major can't be Asian. I'm like, do you guys not see the original or at least any of the anime?
Do you even know the story?
They're
And-
cybernetic humans.
Not to get too off topic, but the same thing with Iron Fist. Like, I know nothing about Iron Fist. I actually, when I started seeing the whole whitewashing thing about the Iron Fist show on Netflix, I looked it up. I looked into it because I didn't want to be ignorant to it. But Danny Rand in the comic books
He's white.
is white.
Yeah, he's
He-
white. I think they're just mad that he didn't go to his Kwai-Long Asian master or something. I'm like,
Now, the Doctor Strange one, I know we're getting off topic, but I do want to. That is, from what I understood and what I read, that was a bit of whitewashing. With
the ancient one.
yes, because in the comics she is actually is it even a she or is it a?
It's a he. He's like a Tibetan monk character.
Yeah, he's definitely Asian. He's not an English white woman who is.
But I mean, at the same time, when Doctor Strange was first introduced, they made him like slanty-eyed Asian. So with Doctor Strange, you can go from it's super offensive to you're not gonna be happy.
Well, when you're going from comic books at all, in any shape or form, a popular comic book series, you're not going to find many that have been well established, that have that many diverse characters in them, ethnicity-wise, because it started in the 40s, and everybody was freaking white in the comic books.
Yeah.
And I guess I like, Michelle Rodriguez, right?
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious and other movies. Sorry. I didn't want to get too deep into it, but she had actually did a interview with somebody who had asked her that question about whitewashing and superhero films and things like that. And she basically said, I think we just need to make new superheroes.
We could.
If you want to be more ethnically diverse, let's make some new superheroes who are ethnically diverse. Let's not take Captain America, Steve Rogers, and then turn him into a Mexican, or a Latin American. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. That was my fault. Let's create new characters. Let's broaden it. Let's make it bigger. Let's make the universe bigger, and just add all these characters, But there are very many diverse groups, like Luke Cage and Miles Morales, which I haven't actually gotten into his.
His comic is interesting, but we'll get into that in the next podcast.
Okay, let's get back on topic because I've gone way off.
We we do this all the time, Aaron. It's what we do.
I know. Topic, but add that to the list.
I will. But aside from the Ghost in the Shell one, it was the one that you talked to me before about the chips.
Yes. It was not what I was expecting in the trailer. It looks funny. I hope they did it right.
I hope so too, because I actually did like watching Chips growing up, because it just seemed weird with what was his name?
Ponch or
yeah, Poncherelli.
What was it? What's his real name? How come I cannot remember his name?
Eric Estrada.
That's it, Eric Estrada. I remember watching that show too, and I just remember it like obviously I was too young to really understand, but the older I got, I started watching like SNL and seeing the ambiguously gay duo.
The ambiguously gay duo.
And I'd see like an episode of Chips, and I'm like, there is some bromance going on here. These guys, they really. Not that is wrong. I'm not saying anything about that.
Like, if you want to be gay, just be open with it. That's my thing.
But then seeing the trailer for the new Chips movie, it's like they just blew it up. Like, they took that overtone that was in the original series. Yeah, we're friends. We're really tight, really close friends. And that's it. And then they just kind of like, again, satirized it. And they, at one point in the trailer, Ponch's face ends up in I'm sorry, not Ponch. It would be Pena. Michael Pena's face ends up in Dax Shepard's balls. You know, like not on purpose. There was something to do with he had a broken leg and he was helping him pick him up or something. Like, I gotta watch the trailer again. It was funny. I hope it's good. I really do. I mean, because you were saying you were tired of remakes, and then I was trying to explain to you, it's more like a Dukes of Hazzard remake.
Okay.
From Broken Lizard took over the Dukes of Hazzard, and I was never a humongous fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, but I used to watch them growing up. And then I saw that movie, and I thought it was fun,
Yeah.
But I could see how some people were. I don't know. I honestly, I really liked that one. I really liked the Dukes of Hazzard.
Only time ever like Jessica Simpson.
Willie Nelson smoking out of an apple.
Well, yeah.
With Wonder Woman.
Oh.
So, do you want to? Should we do like a list, like a top? I don't know. Top 5, top 10, or whatever, worst and best, or do you want to do? What is it about remakes in general that kind of pisses you off?
Well, for remakes, I can tolerate a different array of stuff, like the Ocean's 11 remake with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. I enjoyed it because they upped the stakes from the original film to be like more Arsène Lupin sort of stuff of escapades, along with different remakes of different films, like the Count of Monte Cristo film adaptation from the other film adaptations, the Sweeney Todd remake from Tim Burton, and just a whole vast array of stuff that kind of culminate on how to up the ante with age. But then with other films, kind of like the Scooby-Doo one with the good attempt at satire but bad jokes, and then various other tropes like the Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy, although decent in the original, tried to take it way too far with its joke spectrum in the sequel. Those kind of remakes kind of just irk me because it has potential to be a good remake of a good franchise, but then you end up with a clusterfuck of stupidity like what Michael Bay has done to many beloved franchises.
He just adds explosions.
Or
now,
like the Wachowskis with the Speed Racer. I'm still mad about that, but
that was a epileptic-inducing vomit LSD trip. Anyways, but speaking of those remakes, Speed Racer aside,
yeah,
that you were just talking about, all of those, save for the Scooby-Doo, the bad ones, were older films. There's decades between remaking those films. Like Ocean's 11, that was the Rat Pack, right? That was Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and so that took place in the 70s.
Yep.
And so they waited at least 30, 40 years before that remake. But the ones you're saved for Speed Racer, like I said, because that's also got a distance between it. But they just did a really. It was literally like a unicorn vomited on the screen with strobe lights.
Yeah.
It hurt my head to watch. Jenny, I don't even think could finish it. So Um, but like the Scooby Doo, the obviously the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm a fan either way, so I enjoy the films, but it still pisses me off because they're not my Ninja Turtles, you know. Those are all more like they're not even waiting decades anymore to reboot or remake films. Like how many reboots did the Hulk go through?
3, technically.
You know,
like
until
two independent films and then in the Avengers.
Right. And until they found, and Mark Ruffalo took over, and they figured out that the Hulk just can't be standalone. Well, that's because you guys totally frickin' painted him bad.
Like the Fantastic Four.
You did a horrible job because, okay, what people know of the Incredible Hulk, aside from the comic books, I don't care how accurate those 2 movies were with, Eric Bana and... Is it Eric Bana?
I can't remember.
And Edward Norton. And Edward Norton even wanted to be in the Avengers, but something had happened there. And I didn't mind either one of those films, except for the part where, okay, the Hulk that I grew up with is the Hulk from the 80s and the 70s TV series, where you're telling the story of how he is a good guy, and the Hulk's never hurt innocent people. That is one ongoing theme. Not just in the comic books, but even in the animated movies and the original series. The Hulk doesn't hurt innocent people.
No.
He never. They didn't show that in any of the films. They didn't show that, oh my God, he's saving these people's lives by taking the damage elsewhere. All they showed was this green monster that went on screen and destroyed shit for no reason because he's mindless, and Bruce Banner has no control over him, which in the beginning Bruce doesn't have any control over him. But they never gave the chance to keep telling that story instead of, okay, so we lost the main actor from the first Hulk film, let's find a new one. And instead of continuing the story to explain how Hulk isn't bad, let's just reboot it completely,
And then make him start dating Black Widow out of nowhere. Why? How? I don't know.
So, I mean... Like, even in the Avengers films, you get the idea that, okay, Hulk is a rage machine. He's a rage monster. But he never hurt any innocents, and he was funny. When he punches Thor in the face.
Like with that whole punch in the shoulder all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then you have that part with Loki, where he's just, like, puny mortal, and then Hulk is like, puny god. Just... They added some comedy relief in there. He wasn't just a maniacal monster destroying shit, which he wasn't. And if you read, I didn't read the comics very much, but when you get further into it, it gets to a point where Bruce and the Hulk actually become 2 separate entities at one point.
Yeah, but they can't work together because they're just like, I hate you, but if you die, I die. So
right. So they start working together, so to speak. They come to an agreement that, okay, this is what we have to do to survive until... And even at one point, I believe Bruce Banner actually does separate from the Hulk, and the Hulk is just the Hulk after that, and is on his own. And, like, I watched the Planet Hulk movie, where the Avengers send him away because he's just become too destructive for whatever reason, which kind of was backwards from what I remember the Hulk being, but they sent him to Planet Hulk, and then Beta Ray Bill comes in and gets his ass beat. But they made the Hulk character, was that, I don't even remember if Bruce Banner was in that one. Anyways, it doesn't matter. They destroyed both those reboots without continuing the story. If they'd have just continued the story, or told it in a way not like the original TV series, but something similar. Lou Ferrigno did a freaking cameo in the first one, for God's sakes,
That's true. And in the second one.
They just did no justice for Hulk in the Hulk movies. It wasn't the fact that you can't have a standalone Hulk film, because you can. There was a whole TV series about it in the 70s, early 80s.
It's all about the writing, like so many other things.
Well, that's just it. The Hulk is supposed to be a hero. And in both films, the entire freaking film, I sat there grinding my teeth and wanting to punch the military in the face because it was just basically them chasing him throughout the whole film. You know, which, yes, they are chasing him, but the military is chasing the A-Team in that whole TV series and movie, and yet, which is another movie we can get to, and yet they're still able to be portrayed as good guys, even though the military is after them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're still doing good things, good deeds, helping people, doing this. They're still being heroes. Even though there is, yes, this antagonist who's supposed to be the good guy because they're the military, but they're actually the bad guy because they're corrupt. Or, you know, they got too convoluted in trying to paint Hulk as this monster, this rage beast, just to make explosions and blow things up, apparently, like Michael Bay. I don't know.
I don't know either, but ooh, I don't think that this whole thing about how to handle remakes thing could even come out without like several months of just talking for nonstop.
Right. What did you think of the A-Team anyways, that remake? Have you seen that one?
I've seen it, but at the post-credit scene where like all the original members meet the new A-Team, I'm like, why are they... Like, it was okay, I guess, but it's kind of like, this isn't the A-Team I grew up with.
Right. Right, Mr. T, come on.
We can't replace Mr. T.
No. Do you have, what's your least favorite, your most disliked, most... I know you said Scooby-Doo. Is that it? Is that your just absolute most hated?
No, it's Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
I grew up with Speed Racer and all those old anime stuff like Battle of the Planets, Astro Boy, Gigantor. Like, because it's so ingrained in my head, because it's so cherished, and when the Wachowskis just took a unicorn, just jacked off, and then it just had rainbow jizz all over the screen, I'm like, you fucking dicks.
Oh, jeez. What about Planet of the Apes?
That...
With Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, with Mark Wahlberg, okay. With Mark Wahlberg, it's... Like, I can't really hate it because...
I like Mark Wahlberg.
Well, yeah, because of Marky Mark. But I can't bring myself to hate it. Sure, it had many different flaws. But I can't bring myself to hate it for some reason.
You see, with that movie, I think I'm going to say that one's my guilty pleasure. I think, not just because I like Mark Wahlberg, but it was a complete reboot. You know, it didn't take place on Earth at all. Not in the future or the past. It took place on the Planet of the Apes. You know? And then Mark took Simos back to Earth with him. And then the apes took over somehow. I don't know. It made no sense. The continuity was completely off. And as you say, there were many flaws, but I just like that movie.
I know. It's like that whole, I don't know what it is, but I like it, even though it's fucked up.
Well, maybe it's Helena Bonham Carter. Maybe that's it. Because it was a Burton film.
Oh, yeah, that's how they ended up together.
All right, what next? What else? What else about remakes?
I kind of forgot.
We could keep going all night with this, though.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't get to the other topic we promised today.
Okay. Well,
we're gonna shelf that for a later date for a continuation. Just gonna put that back on the shelf real quick. We'll get back to you, remakes.
Okay.
But
adulting.
Adulting. I hate
What's
it.
the favorite part about adulting? Okay, you hate it. Well, that's a good way to start it off.
I mean, yeah, I like the fact that I can no longer have a curfew. I can drink whenever I want. I can rent a car at 25. I can go to motels whenever I want to. I don't have to sit and talk too much as soon as I get facial hair. Just like, I want to see an R-rated movie. Here you go. Thank you. Like, those are good benefits, but then you gotta deal with all the stuff, just like you gotta take all these different things when you hit 50, like a prostate exam. Having like someone's cold hand in a glove shove their finger up your asshole.
Oh, nope.
I would be like, I want to cry after you're done pulling your finger out, because this is traumatizing. Then there's stuff like bills, trying to find someone to just be like, okay, I don't want to fucking die alone. Do you love me enough to stay with me the rest of my life? Or at least until one of us gets sick of the other one. Okay, have this ring, and don't you fuck someone else.
Then there's taxes.
Oh yeah, taxes. Those beloved things.
You know, this is pretty sad. I mean, we're millennials, right? We are. We are. I think we're just on that cusp. I think we're the first year. Actually, I think I'm the first year. 1984. I don't remember how the whole generation thing.
Oh no, millennials kind of span between like the early to mid 90s. On the cusp of the 80s, you guys would still be in the Pepsi generation X, like the Reagan babies.
The Reagan babies. Really? You have to say that.
No, that's what a comedian said. Like, you guys referred to as. Okay, well, that was odd. Don't know what happened there, but I don't know. Some weird shit going on today. Anywho, just like to wrap up the whole thing about adulting, it has its perks, but all in all, it's terrible.
I feel like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison when that kid looks up at him and says, "I can't wait to go to hike school." And Billy's all like, "No, don't you say that.
Don't ever say it.
Don't ever say that. You stay right here." Oh man. Oh, there are good aspects to it. I can definitely say I'm glad to be an adult, but yeah, there's a lot of bullshit too. There's just
too much wrong.
There's too much bureaucracy everywhere. There's too many freaking shady people everywhere. God, don't even get me into freaking politics, for Christ's sakes. That's something you actually got to pay attention to if you care. And then you get into all that whole thing and you realize, oh my God, this is just a giant freaking circle jerk of ass fuck going on.
I don't have time for this circle jerk.
And then you're like, why? Why do I pay attention to any of this shit? And then I have a friend, you know, who's on Facebook. He's a mountain man, basically. And he posts these things on Facebook, and I'm like, I want to do that. I just want to, like, he's out in the desert right now in a shack or a shanty, and he's just completely happy, you know? and he doesn't live there, but he travels from these places, from place to place, and he's just always out in the wilderness, always out, you know, on his own. And I'm like, God, I could take that vacation, you know?
If only.
If only. And he's completely happy. But him, I picture being able to do that. He's a really, really good guy.
But
Me, I'd probably give up after a week.
I would too, but unfortunately for everyone else, I kind of ran out of space on my recorder stuff, so unfortunately our time is short this week. But next time, what is the topic, Aaron?
Oh God. Well, why don't we do, what was the one we just said to write down?
Miles Morales' backstory.
Yeah, you could tell me about Miles Morales' backstory. We could talk a little bit more about comic books in general and whatnot, and
Alright, so...
issues with new comics as opposed to old comics and whatnot. And
Yes!
yes, we could do that. That'll be the next episode.
That'll be the next episode in 1 to 2 weeks, because I don't know. This whole coming up week is my mom's birthday week, so I'm like, I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll do it on Saturday. Maybe we'll do it on Sunday. Maybe we'll don't do it at all. Who knows?
Oh.
But there will be another episode.
There will be. But last time we ended things off, it was like a soap opera ending. So.
Soap opera ending.
Well, didn't you see the ending?
I did. I did, and I didn't because the kids were running rampant.
Like you were going off to the bathroom and then soap opera ending.
I'm gonna rewatch the last 5 minutes here as soon as we get off of here.
But how do we end this without me seeming like a dick?
Well,
I mean, we could obviously talk or something until I cut the black in mid.